Boom! Right on the jawline. That was a big game changer right there for Leah McCourt.
Leah McCourt just dropped a fucking bombshell on Dakota Ditcheva. Out of nowhere, McCourt has fired a savage threat at the undefeated monster, saying, "I'll break everyone and I'll kill Dakota Ditcheva." Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't just a call-out. This is an Irish war cry against the most feared woman in the PFL, and maybe the entire fight game. Let's get one thing straight. Leah McCourt isn't some random trash talker trying to steal headlines. She's Bellator's Irish queen, a legit featherweight contender who has fought the likes of Sinead Kavanagh and Diana Silva. She's 8-3 a grappling specialist, and she's been hunting for a fight that could transform her career. And when she looks at Dakota Ditcheva, she doesn't see fear. She sees her dream fight. But here's the kicker. She didn't just show respect. She threw gasoline on the fire by saying she wants to end Dakota's hype before it even touches UFC gold.
Sprinkle by TKO or KO, I will tell you the confidence that she's going to have now getting up is going to be unbelievable. And there it is.
Beautiful knee from the plum.
And Ditcheva beckons Jenna Bishop back to her feet and goes immediately on the attack. Oh, right hand.
In trouble.
And that doesn't. First round finish, and Dakota Ditcheva silences.
On the other side, Dakota Ditcheva undefeated. 15 wins, 10 savage finishes. The coldest Muay Thai knees in women's MMA fans call her the violent Cinderella PFL, calls her the future face of women's MMA. And UFC insiders are already drooling over her debut. But here's where it gets controversial. Every time Dakota dominates, her list of enemies grows longer. Chris Cyborg, Valentina Shevchenko, Amanda Nunes, and now Leah McCourt wants a piece too. The hype around Dakota is becoming a target, and McCourt is ready to take her shot. Now listen carefully to what Leah McCourt said. She called Dakota one of the baddest, unbelievable fighters in the world. But then she flipped the script, saying it would be her dream goal to face her, and then the bombshell, "I'll break everyone and I'll kill Dakota Ditcheva." Respect? Gone. This just turned into pure violence. This isn't just about Leah McCourt chasing a payday. This is about an Irish veteran standing in front of the sport's biggest rising star and saying, "I'll be the one to end your story." Think about it. Dakota is being groomed as the next Valentina, the next Nunes, the next face of women's MMA. She's undefeated, unchallenged, untouched. But Leah, she's the underdog, the grinder, the fighter who's been written off more than once. And now she's putting her entire name on the line to try and bury Dakota's hype. Here's why this fight would be chaos. Dakota Ditcheva, a Muay Thai striker with lethal finishing instincts. Leah McCourt, a grappling-heavy fighter with submissions and brutal top control. It's the ultimate striker versus grappler war. And Leah believes her ground game is the silver bullet that could finally expose Dakota Ditcheva. If this fight actually happens, it's do or die for both women. For Dakota Ditcheva, a win keeps her undefeated hype alive and pushes her one step closer to superstardom in the UFC. For Leah McCourt, a win over Dakota would be the biggest victory of her career. It would flip her from underdog to headliner overnight. But let's be real, if she fails, she'll just be another name on Dakota Ditcheva's kill list. So the question is simple. Will Leah McCourt shock the world and kill the hype of Dakota Ditcheva? Or will Dakota do what Dakota always does and send Leah McCourt to the shadow realm? Because one thing's for sure, this rivalry just got fucking personal.
Yeah, I think that's a great fight to happen. I think she's called for it, the fans called for it. You can see it across Twitter where we're saying, like, one of the dream fights they want to see is White House against South Dakota. And that's a huge bucket list item to be able to do, like, fight in front of the president in the White House. Like, who wouldn't want to do that? And I think that Dakota and I both have the skills and the excitement to bring it, to showcase everything everybody wants to see and make that the fight.
Liz Carmouche just dropped a fucking bombshell on Dakota Ditcheva. The veteran pioneer, fresh off her 2025 PFL tournament victory, isn't calling out easy fights, she's coming straight for the monster. And in her own words, she's coming to break Dakota Ditcheva's hype train.
If I think I could pick my next opponent, probably Dakota.
Standing tall after her tournament win, Liz didn't hesitate. She called out the undefeated violent Cinderella herself, Dakota Ditcheva. She said, "This is the fight fans want. This is the matchup the PFL needs. And this is where she'll prove that no hype is unstoppable." Let's be real, this is a bombshell for one reason: Dakota Ditcheva looks untouchable, destroying opponents with Anderson Silva knees and Amanda Nunes level violence. Nobody's been able to last, nobody's been able to survive. Even Valentina Scatizzi admitted, Dakota ended my career. So for Liz Carmouche, a 40-year-old pioneer, to step forward and say, I'll break the hype, that's not just confidence. That's fucking insanity or legendary bravery. On one side, you've got Liz Carmouche, a pioneer, a survivor, a former UFC title challenger, Bellator champion, and now a PFL tournament winner. She's been in wars, she's faced killers, and she's still standing. On the other, Dakota Ditcheva, undefeated, destroying everyone in one round and leaving bodies behind her. This is the ultimate clash of generations, a battle between the old guard and the new nightmare. Liz didn't just call this fight out, she called it necessary, and she's right. The PFL women's flyweight division doesn't need filler fights. It doesn't need mismatches. It needs the most violent, most meaningful fight they can book, and that's Carmouche versus Ditcheva. Veteran versus unbeaten. Legend versus rising monster. Anything less feels pointless. Here's why this fight is terrifying, because if Liz Carmouche loses, she's handing her legacy over to Dakota on a silver platter. But if she wins, she becomes the first woman to derail the hype train, the first woman to prove Dakota Ditcheva isn't invincible. Either way, someone's career changes forever. And don't forget the UFC is watching. Dana White just saw Amanda Nunes retire. He just saw Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko fight to a stalemate. And meanwhile, Dakota Ditcheva is over here killing everyone in the PFL. If Carmouche beats her, UFC's division stays safe. But if Dakota destroys Liz Carmouche the way she's destroyed everyone else, Dana White's women's divisions are officially fucked. Liz Carmouche has dropped a bombshell. She wants Dakota Ditcheva. She says she'll break the hype. But here's the question. Is this the bravest call-out of her career or the beginning of her destruction? Because when you step into the cage with Dakota Ditcheva, nobody survives.
Your headline, I think that'd be amazing. I think when Dakota's healthy, I would love a chance to be able to fight Dakota. One of the dream fights I want to see is White House, myself and Dakota. And that's a huge bucket list item to be able to do, like fight in front of the president in the White House. Like, who wouldn't want to do that? And I think that Dakota and I both have the skills and the excitement to bring it, to showcase everything everybody wants to see and make that the fight people see.
She could start asserting some dominance on this round, in my opinion. Oh, Bill!
Bishop's in bad trouble. Here come the Hendersons. And Liz Carmouche pounds out a world tournament victory.
Liz Carmouche just dropped a fucking bombshell at PFL World Tournament 9. Fresh off her brutal TKO win, the 41-year-old veteran grabbed the mic and called out none other than Dakota Ditcheva, the undefeated golden girl of the PFL. And she didn't stop there. Carmouche demanded the PFL open a brand new women's bantamweight division just so she can headline a super fight against Dakota at 135 pounds. This is massive. A 41-year-old legend calling out the undefeated PFL star who everyone thinks is the future of women's MMA first. Let's break down what happened inside that cage. Carmouche went to war with Gina Bishop, and while the early rounds weren't easy, Bishop nearly tapped her with multiple submissions. Liz dug deep and did what legends do. She cracked Bishop with a vicious counter left hook in round 3, dropped her like a stone, and finished with ground and pound. That finish not only gave Carmouche the 2025 PFL Women's Flyweight Tournament title, but also a fat $500,000 prize check. And here's the crazy part. Liz is now on a 3-fight win streak, 12-1 since leaving the UFC, and still adding belts to her resume at 41 years old. But it wasn't the knockout that shook the MMA world, it was the call-out. Liz said straight up she wants the PFL to open a bantamweight division at 135 pounds. And who does she want as her first fight? Dakota fucking Ditcheva. Think about this. Carmouche is a former UFC title challenger, the last ever Bellator flyweight champion, and now a PFL tournament winner. She's already fought the best of her generation, but instead of coasting, she's coming for the next big thing, Dakota. This is pure chaos, because Dakota is undefeated, 12-0, and being hyped as the PFL's version of Valentina Shevchenko. Here's where the controversy kicks in. On one hand, Carmouche is 41 years old, but she's on the best run of her career. On the other, Dakota is in her absolute prime, a killer striker with highlight reel knockouts that have fans comparing her to Amanda Nunes and Valentina. Is Liz chasing greatness? Or is she setting herself up to be fed to the younger lion?
The PFL has really gone behind your teammate, Dakota Ditcheva. First off, what do you think of her performances so far this year?
Bro, she's a killer. She's a killer. She's the future of MMA, and I think that she's only getting better. She's young, she's hungry, she's disciplined, she's motivated. She's got a good head on her shoulders.
And remember, Kayla Harrison has already said Dakota would kill Valentina Shevchenko in 15 seconds. Now, Carmouche is basically volunteering to step into that fire. If this fight happens at 135, it could redefine the women's game, but it could also get ugly fast. Let's not forget, Liz Carmouche is already a trailblazer. First woman to ever fight in the UFC back in 2013 against Ronda Rousey, former Bellator champ with 3 title defenses. And now a PFL tournament winner with $500,000 in the bank. She's fought the legends, but calling out Dakota shows she's not just living in the past, she wants to take down the future. That's legacy talk, that's GOAT talk. But for Dakota, this is also a gift. Imagine headlining against Carmouche, beating her, and cementing herself as the star that carries the PFL women's divisions forward. Liz Carmouche dropped a bombshell at PFL World Tournament 9, and now the ball is in Dakota Ditcheva's court. Will the PFL make this super fight at 135 pounds? Will Dakota accept the challenge? Or will Carmouche's legendary run finally meet the brick wall of an undefeated monster? One thing's for sure, this is the fight nobody saw coming, but now everyone wants to see. Drop your thoughts below. Does Liz Carmouche have a real shot? Or will Dakota run straight through her like everyone else? Make sure you like, subscribe, and stay tuned because this story is only getting crazier. Dakota ditch-freaking Eva just dropped the truth bomb nobody saw coming, crying in the cage after another dominant win. And no, it wasn't joy, it was frustration, it was pain. And it was a warning to the UFC. I'm stuck.
Even though I look up to her a lot, I still want to be in her position and be able to beat someone like her. So
you could fight any female right now. Who would you want to go with?
Valentina Shevchenko right now. I want to be at the top.
This is legacy versus legacy to be. Valentina is one of the most well-rounded fighters in MMA history. She reads opponents like code, downloads your game in real time, and exploits the first bug she finds. Dakota, she's got that unorthodox rhythmic striking that could actually throw Valentina off early. Long knees, feints, switch kicks from odd angles. But here's where Reggie gets real. Dakota still needs more 5-round reps. Her pace can dip late, and Valentina is the queen of championship round adjustments. Still, imagine a fully dialed in Dakota with sharpened counter wrestling and championship caliber cardio on point. If she dethrones Shevchenko, especially by spectacular knockout, it wouldn't just be an upset. It would catapult Dakota into instant superstardom and turn her into a household name overnight. We're talking late show appearances, global endorsements, the works. That's the rocket ship moment everyone's waiting on, and it would stamp her GOAT application in permanent ink.
Dakota Ditcheva, 15 wins, 0 losses, one of the most exciting undefeated killers in MMA. She just beat Sumiko Inaba at PFL Africa with style, power, and absolute control. But instead of celebrating, Dakota was in tears. I think I've injured my left hand. I'm more gutted because I've been out for so long and I'm injured again. You could see it in her eyes. Dakota didn't just break her hand, she broke inside. This was supposed to be her return, her moment. Instead, she's left with pain, a damaged hand, and more time on the shelf, and let's talk facts. Fans have been begging for Dakota in the UFC. Laura Sanko called her the violent Cinderella, who could rescue the entire women's division. But now, it looks like the UFC just got ghosted.
When you come back, what are you looking forward to?
I mean, I have just re-signed with PFL. We've come to a great...
That's right. She didn't jump ship. She doubled down. Dakota just re-signed